Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. Words and Pictures by Mo Willems. A multimodal exploration of a Mo Willems masterpiece by Will Cashmore. Hi, I'm the bus driver. Listen, I've got to leave for a little while, so can you watch things for me until I get back? Thanks. Oh, and remember, don't let the pigeon drive the bus. I thought he'd never leave. Hey, can I drive the bus? Please, I'll be careful. I know what, I'll just steer. My cousin Harry drives a bus almost every day. True story. Vroom, vroom, vroomy, vroom, vroom. Pigeon at the wheel. Hey, I've got an idea. Let's play Drive the Bus. I'll go first. Come on, just to the corner and back. I'll be your best friend. No fair. How about I give you a fiver? I bet your mum would let me. What's the problem? I have dreams, you know. It's just a bus. Fine. Let me drive the bus! Textual concepts. Representation of main ideas and themes. Mo Willems' charming 2003 interactive picture book Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus utilises simplified language to represent a vast range of engaging and thematic ideas, which make this text a perfect and fun resource to capture attentions of cheeky Stage 1 readers. Readers are encouraged to become absorbed in several themes that are conveyed throughout this text. They include humour, persuasion, empathy, responsibility, and creative problem solving, and through an examination of the author's language choices and purpose, engrossing and entertaining discussions can be held within a classroom learning environment between the teacher and the students to facilitate deeper understandings and connections for the text. Point of view, authorial voice, and the positioning of reader. Mo Willems expresses his story from a second-person point of view, and this is significant as the interactive styling of the textual language serves to make readers an active participant in the story's progression. The reader is made to feel like they are actually the ones driving the wheel of this story. Moreover, Willems' authorial voice is playful and chatty, and assuming the role of the pigeon character, which allows him to actually form his own connections with his readers. And to reiterate, this reader is positioned to act as a decision maker in the text, empowering them to think critically as well. So have a think. If you were the reader, what would you say? Narrative structure. Whilst not a long story, this text still follows a traditional three-part narrative structure with a beginning, middle, and end phase as part of its interactive structure. The textual structure is rather repetitive, and humour is used to reinforce the story's central message, which is to not allow the pigeon to drive the bus. The repetitiveness follows a pattern of predictability, which is easy for young readers to anticipate and follow. On each page, the pigeon continually presents different arguments that progressively escalates to persuade readers to let him drive the bus. Visual storytelling is another key component which controls the narrative structure here, as Willems' vivid illustrations balance the story and adds depth to the pigeon character. In this way, he is drawing upon two semiotic systems, images and words, to create an imaginative multimodal story that readers can jump into and feel a part of as they themselves are driving the bus of this story. Presentation of the pigeon. The pigeon character in this text is the central focus of the story, and his journey throughout the story's progression provides the main storyline arc. Willems depicts the pigeon as definable by his determination to persuade the reader to let him drive the bus through a multitude of expressive strategies which facilitates a strong connection between the character and readers. Firstly, expressive facial expressions rapidly change throughout the story, depending on if the pigeon feels like the reader will actually let him drive the bus. The pigeon's facial expressions serve as the main portrayal of his emotions. The pigeon also showcases changing emotions through body language. In some pages, his body language is slumped, stomping, begging, and pleading, and this emphasizes to the reader the dramatics of the pigeon's developing desperation as the story proceeds. And finally, relatability. Willem's chief aim behind how he presents his pigeon is to create a relatable character which his young readers can connect with. And the pigeon's childlike reactions to situations mirrors that of experiences young readers might relate and then empathize with. Setting. The setting in this text is quite bleak and quite lifeless, and Willems intentionally illustrates a basic setting to act as a backdrop for his story that does not draw focus to any bright colours or miscellaneous features that draws attention away from the reader, because the purpose of his illustrations is to direct the reader's whole focus to the dynamic interactions between the pigeon and the bus driver. Willem's use of such a vague setting also allows young readers to project their imagination onto the story, and this only enhances the text-audience interaction and engagement. Visual elements analysis. On page 28 to 29, the pigeon is illustrated to be at their breaking point as he says, "Let me drive the bus," indicated through 6 different representations of the pigeon, visually empathizing the dramatic emotions that he feels at this time. And what is crucial to these visual representations is the positioning of the pigeons in conjunction with the large text at the top of the page. The pigeon appears to be speaking the text, and this is clear as 5 of the 6 pigeon's speech marks, in the form of 3 small lines coming out of the mouth, are directed towards the speech, acting as vectors between the pigeon and the page's text. The use of the dark orange color as the background of this page is also very significant, as it matches the intensity of the pigeon's emotions at this part of the story. Compared to the rest of the text, the page color here is far more intense, allowing readers to further connect that in this part of the story, the pigeon must be at their breaking point. The pigeon's angry outburst on this page also functions as a visual metaphor for the loss of composure and control, and this is a very valuable lesson for young readers that they can connect with. Symbolically, the visual representation of the pigeon's frustration showcases to young readers that in life, you're not always going to get your way, and sometimes you just need to be calm, and this could lead to healthier solutions. Young readers can additionally make text-to-self connection with the visual representation of the pigeon's feathers falling off, as they appear similar to the act of sweating with exhaustion or displeasure, or pulling your hair out when you're angry about something. Favorite phrases. There are many funny phrases throughout this book, but both pages that I've chosen are on page 26 as my preferred. And these are examples of creative and hyperbolic pleas from the pigeon to be allowed to drive the bus. "I bet your mum would let me." By saying this, the pigeon casts my mind to personal experiences where I might have considered what my parents would think if I did something that bent the rules. Whereas, by suggesting "how about I give you a $5," I am reminded of experiences where I may have been motivated to bend the rules for the allure of financial gain. Both phrases can be thought of as examples of childlike banter that you might find in the school playground, and again, this allows readers, young readers especially, to form deeper connections with the text. Lesson ideas for Stage 1 students. Language lesson. To develop young readers' literacy comprehension, a language study activity could be designed to focus on the skills about making predictions about what is going to happen in a text before reading it. In this way, the technique of predictive reading is being practiced, and this is a valuable skill for Stage 1 learners, especially at such an early point in their development of literacy skills. In this lesson, teachers could use the title and front cover to demonstrate how students can form predictions and anticipate what is about to happen in the text they're going to read, developing critical thinking skills at the same time. Teachers could conduct this lesson through a whole class discussion, modeling how to make a prediction, and then the students can complete the worksheet, requiring them to make a prediction about the story using the title, and they also need to explain what they think will happen in the story, referring to specific links. A creative writing lesson. To develop Stage 1 students' creative writing skills, a writing lesson could be designed to encourage students to become creative thinkers through an activity where they need to change elements of a story to fit imaginative ideas that they come up with. Students will be challenged to retell key parts of the story. For example, they can change the events to the pigeon driving the bus and finding trouble along the way. This activity is primarily scaffolded and as a creative writing planning lesson. Students could also change the setting of the story. Maybe they want to change it to taking place in a zoo or a school or a jungle. In this activity, students are encouraged to become imaginative and creative without limits. And for this lesson to be successful, teachers should encourage students to change each element of the story according to the worksheet prompts, as they improve their brainstorming ideas skills, imaginative thinking, and exploring alternative storylines. Oral lesson. To develop Stage 1 students' oral literacy skills, a fun and upbeat lesson which incorporates role-playing games can be used to improve their oral expression. Engaging with dialogue from a text in oral forms promotes expressive language value, and through role-play, students receive an opportunity to hear how oral expression can add to the personal enjoyment of humorous stories. In this activity, students can be placed in pairs to act out the events on the below page, with one student playing the role of the pigeon and the other the role of the reader, crafting witty responses to the pigeon's pleas. In this way, students are also developing their empathy skills, as they need to be empathetic towards the pigeon and the bus driver, depending on which role they are playing. Extending supporting students for the creative writing lesson. For the creative writing lesson, to extend students, a differentiated lesson which maintains a focus on chaining story elements can be implemented by engaging with the above worksheet. In this activity, students are challenged to create a creative writing paragraph where they need to place the established story elements into a different setting, for example, a zoo. Students can also use the words in the keyword box to enhance their paragraph. Supporting students through this worksheet, the My Retell worksheet from before, a differentiation approach can be taken, providing two choices in each box for students to select from. As opposed to creating their own new ideas, decision-making and interpretation skills are also developed through this idea. For example, in the box where students need to change the title of the story, differentiating the worksheet to provide students with the choices of the pigeon problem and the pigeon versus the bus driver could be beneficial. And to indicate their choice, students need to either circle, tick, or highlight whichever choice they prefer. Related text. Two great related texts for Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus could include The Book with No Pictures and The Day the Crayons Quit, because both texts similarly follow an unconventional narrative structure and provide meaning-making opportunities in the development of literacy skills, especially the impact of reader empowerment, as all three texts empower the reader to become active participants in the story, creating an engaging reading experience for young readers. Cross-curricular activity. For Don't Let the Pigeons Drive the Bus, you could use this text as a Stage 1 cross-curricular learning experience with a science activity, focusing on the study of pigeons, particularly their external features. In this activity, students will be given the opportunity to discuss, describe, and represent the external features of a pigeon animal through a cut and paste activity using the resources on the right side of this slide. In this activity, students could read the text to the students at the beginning of the lesson, showing many examples of the pigeon illustration before asking students to identify the features of the pigeon. And after a class discussion, students could then feel more comfortable completing the activity. They'll also be able to expand their vocabulary in this lesson using words such as crown, sear, and vent, which are not high-frequency words that they may use every day. And it also has great science and technology curriculum links, as this lesson enables students to describe observable features of living things and their environments. Here are some K-10 New South Wales English syllabus links. reference list for this multimodal presentation, and text references and syllabus documents. I hope you've enjoyed this multimodal presentation. Thank you.